Glenn Loury here. This is the Glenn Show. We're the Black Guys at bloggingheads.tv. I noticed at the website for Voices of Black Mothers United that you have state leaders in different states like Pennsylvania and Maryland and Alabama and whatnot, Indiana. I was very impressed. So you're branching out, you're active, not just in your own local community, but starting to be around the country.
Yes, Glenn, we are bringing mothers together. The whole ideal of it is to give strength to the mothers in every state who are trying to do this advocacy, who is trying to promote the issue of what's going on in our communities. So we're trying as collectively, coming together collectively, we're trying to give them a stronger voice. So if the Pennsylvania mom is doing something, we all come together and support that Pennsylvania mom. Ideally, what I would love to see, I would love to see every mother who's lost a child to violence convene as they do all the time at the mall in Washington. I would love to see those numbers. I would love to see the impact so the world can see how horrible of a problem this is. I consider it a pandemic. I really do. The number of murders in these communities is just ridiculous.
How would you feel about connecting up with families who've lost children to mass shootings, school shootings, things of this kind? Is there anything like that percolating in the background?
It is. Violence is violence. The pain that a mother goes through putting her child in a ground or in a vault with the hopes to see them one day spiritually. There's no description for that kind of pain, right? And there's no economic lines for that kind of pain. There's no color lines for that kind of pain. We all experience that same pain, whether the mom had to deal with a suicide or opioid OD. It's still the same thing. So we would love to bring together all of us to the table because opioids is a big problem. Suicide, especially from bullying, is a big problem. But at the end of the day, when we come together, we share the same hurt.
Sure.
There's nothing different. And there's no separation of that hurt.
It's not black hurt. It's not white hurt.
No, absolutely not.
It's not a racial hurt. It's a human hurt.
It's a human hurt. It's a mother's pain. That, I don't know, but for me, I love giving birth. So, I think about and tell the stories about the birth of Crystal. She's this big, that little butterball. And I love carrying her. I love every kick, every heartbeat. I can remember those things. Every moment of it. And most mothers do.
Why do you think, Sylvia, that I know the names of the mothers of Michael Brown and Trayvon Martin and Eric Gardner and George Floyd, but I didn't learn your name until today?
Because you couldn't make money off my baby. I'm going to tell the truth and shame the devil. That's something my grandmother used to say, tell the truth and shame the devil. My daughter, to me, she was larger than life, but she was killed by one of our own in our community. So we're so desensitized that that's just normal. What? It's Monday. 10 kids died. Okay. But let a white policeman kill one of us, whether they're in the wrong or the right. We can make money off of that. We can put that across the billboards. We can stay on TV.
Yeah, and the city just might give you a multi-million-dollar settlement before it's over if you've got the right lawyer.
Maybe, maybe not. Maybe and maybe not. We have one mother who Black Lives Matter got involved with the death of her son by a police officer, and she's homeless. Homeless. Now, I can see under ordinary circumstances how that homelessness can happen because you totally shut down. So if you are the one that's responsible for the income in your family and you shut down, then there's no more income.
But if the organization was involved in complaining about the police killing, they should have seen after the mother so that she wouldn't fall into that condition, because there is a lot of money out there.
You would think not only falling into that condition economically, but falling, period, mentally. That should have been the first thing that was taken care of. Let's get you some help. Each one of us have to have that counseling. So if you're going to take care of that person, you take care of them whole. Because money cannot take away that pain in your heart. So if you're truly concerned about that person as a human being, you're going to start with taking care of their mental stability. You're going to start by loving on them. Then you go into what are their outside needs. But you're going to make them a whole person again. That's the first thing. You start with that love. Where's the love?
Start with love. That sounds right to me. Sylvia, you got a book. I should mention it. Minefields, A Healing Journey to Survive the Murder of a Child.
Yes, sir. Yes. I got to a point of my thoughts and my sleepless nights were overbearing. And someone said to me, why don't you write those things down? Why don't you write down what happened prior to? Why don't you tell your story? So perhaps your story could be a blue, what do you call it?
I don't know, roadmap or something?
Roadmap, a blueprint is what I was saying.
Okay.
For other mothers who are going through, because you don't know what to do. Everything that you once knew has been questioned and shaken and torn apart. So you have to find out what's your new normal and where do you start. So I started by journaling, and that journaling became help for others.
Minefield, a healing journey to survive the murder of a child.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Sylvia, I really appreciate you coming on the show and talking about that. I overlook anything? Is there something else that you'd like to share with us before we conclude?
Yes, I would. To do this work, it's difficult work. I'm not going to say that it's easy. It's not. However, we have to be mindful of expenses. So I have a saying, sympathy is no substitute for support. Don't feel sorry for me. Support me, right? Support us. We need funding like no other to continue to do what we do, to continue to come up with solutions to be able to duplicate them in other parts of the states. So if you see in your heart to support us, please do. You can go to voicesofblackmothers.com, join the movement, support the movement. You can go to the woodsoncenter.org, donate.
Okay, that's very fair. You're all listening to this. If you're so moved, that's voicesofblackmothers.com or woodsoncenter.org to support the voices of Black mothers and the good work that Sylvia Bennett-Stone is doing. So again, with great gratitude for your time and praying that your work bears and continues to bear fruit, I thank you for coming on the Glenn Show, Sylvia.